In the next two videos, I will do interviews that are very relevant to what is going on with a female with 2 degrees who has talked to me for about a month and for over 90 hours. But first, let me give you an accurate timeline of my videos to the best of my ability and to the best of my recollection. You may see slight discrepancies in the timeline because I've been fumed and drugged heavily since about the end of 2011 and the beginning of 2012. And I was smoking weed up until July 2012, where I took a break all the way till about the end of 2013, September or so. And then in 2014, I quit smoking weed again in September. I quit alcohol before I began my videos in 2009. In 2011, beginning of 2011, about January, I was printing out information and trying to convince my parents that my cousins were not mentally ill. And since I had been to the psych ward as a child for superficial reasons like leaving the house and not asking for permission, they wanted to make an example out of me, and they set me up on the anniversary of my uncle's death, February 2011. So when you look at my videos from 2009 and 2010, I come off as someone who smokes weed a lot, which I did, who has accurate information, which I did have. But you start to see the change in about 2012, where you see them starting to covertly drug me. And I have the evidence from, I think, somewhere around the beginning of 2012, where I make a video showing they're drugging my weed. And I'd been smoking weed for a long time before that, so I was well aware of what a good batch is and what a spiked or bad batch is. So you see my behavior drastically change, and I go on and off psych meds for a while. In July 2012, I go to the psych ward, and then outpatient, I'm released about in September. So from July or the beginning of August all the way through, beginning of August 2012, all the way through about October or so, or the end of 2013, I was on psych meds. More or less that time frame. And I wasn't smoking weed. I was getting drug tested by my psychiatrist. Don't ask why. He was also a substance abuse expert or whatever. And he was also into addiction medicine, rather. So you see some very strange behavior during that period of time. That was when I reposted the Illuminati 2013 series on my Meklo channel, which I'm going to keep up. You see very strange behavior, and you can see why during that period of time women weren't exactly giving me the time of day. It wasn't until they started sabotaging my love life that I saw a dramatic decrease in dating with women. So whether it was the psych meds doing it or whether it was the gangstalkers doing it, you see this sabotage of my love life. They don't want me to date women. It's part of eugenics. And so they drug me, and they covertly drug me and deliberately sabotage my love life. So what you see is when I'm on psych meds, they might throw me a bone once in a while to make me feel like I'm doing the right thing. And when I'm off psych meds, they covertly drug me intensely and sabotage my love life, assertively, in order to make me feel like I need psych meds, and in my videos to impress upon people that I am better on my psych meds. But when you look at this thing, you look at the 14 witnesses, the dozens of interviews I have as well, other than the 14 witnesses, you're forced to the conclusion that the most functional I am is when I've effectively avoided psychiatric medication, such as right now, it's the beginning of the day. I've been slightly fumed, but for the most part, I haven't eaten yet. so I haven't really had a chance to be drugged. And soon I will go out and get something to eat, and they are drugging me at over 30 different restaurants. This is a massive concerted effort involving more groups and MK Ultra involved, which is logical because over time they've recruited more people and the system has been more well integrated, more thoroughly integrated. So you see gangs, the same ones that were involved in MK Ultra and more, reaching out to other gangs and making allegiances based upon vested interest and business activities. You see education, schools, prisons, the same groups that were involved in MK Ultra, psych wards, psychiatrists, private researchers, contractors, law enforcement, intelligence agencies, secret societies, and more. Remember, on record, according to an expert in the subject and psychiatrist Colin Ross, MK Ultra was funded by the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. I believe that was page 33 from his book, The CIA Doctors. All right. So when you see this massive concerted effort, you see my behavior, you see that there's nothing wrong with me, but because of my political activity, and America has a long history of the political abuse of psychiatry, I'll put that in the comments, a partial history of it, so you can kind of get an idea. It is the Martha Mitchell effect. Look that up as well. But let's just get back to it, shall we? So in 2014, I quit weed, and so I go back, and also I believe I went back to the psych ward for the last time, toward the beginning of 2014. So then, all through 2014, 2015, 2016, I've been drugged and trying to avoid it. You see them slowing down my videos, and look at part 2 and 3 of the interview. This is the intro, really, and explaining my behavior in the videos. I will be taking some videos down, and I will be keeping videos that I feel have good information, decent behavior, or they're examples of my behavior that I have in other playlists, and hopefully I won't remove any ones that I mean to keep. So my last 4 channels will end up being a pretty fair representation of my beliefs, a lot more than my first 4, 5, or 6 channels. And those last 4 are Mekloke, Sid Jackson, James Jackson, and Covertly Drugged. So I really wanted to get into that because it's quite weird, really, is that when I'm on psych meds, I actually behave more strangely, almost gay. I almost have gay mannerisms in speech, almost a lisp. And when I'm off psych meds and covertly drugged, I'm more aggressive, and you see them drugging me in a way that seems to be consistent with mental illness as far as my behaviors. But when you look at this thing, right, there's a thin line, for example, between somebody on methamphetamines and somebody who's bipolar. You see the same kind of hyperactivity, the same sort of rapid speech and disorganized thinking and so on. So it is very easy to drug somebody, even with street drugs, in a way that makes them seem bipolar, much less pharmaceuticals and substances designed just for that very purpose. So yes, in case you've missed it, they are drugging me to try to make you think that I'm mentally ill and to give a superficial reason that law enforcement and the mental health services will roll with for me needing psychiatric drugs, which by default push women away from me, make me less worthy of a adversary. They reduce my ability to do martial arts and to do my videos and research effectively, and I suffer a whole myriad of side effects. So don't let your misconceptions, your false beliefs, and your pitiful preconceptions be the reason why you miss exactly what they're doing. I am Chukwu Emeka, the top martial artist in America, and I am being persecuted for my political views because I have a superior lifestyle, a more virtuous and respectable history, and they cannot beat me at martial arts or at a debate because they are greedy, dead wrong, and I would say inferior forms of life because of their adherence to Satanism, or atheistic Satanism, rather. Thank you.